It's the fabulous, it's the extraordinary, it's the legendary Nürburgring. Hello and welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's ADAC Truck Grand Prix time. We're so excited to be here at this legendary racetrack. And also the races are boosted by the ADAC GT Masters and also the French Truck Racing Championship. And of course we do see great festivals. We do see lots of children playing around. We do see camping. We do see glamping, and we do see, of course, the legendary fireworks on Saturday evening. So hyped. We are ahead of qualifying number one, still and already starting on Friday this time. So this is new, and what is also new is Lina van der Maas. I'm going to present to you the fabulous colleague of mine. Lina, welcome. So I already said the weekend is absolutely packed. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, hello from my side. You will be seeing this face quite a lot in the future. I'm very stoked being your co-host in this race, learning a lot about truck racing. I'm coming out of the world of rally racing and circuit racing, but this is the first time in truck racing, so pretty stoked. And I'm generally stoked about seeing all the trucks, meeting all the drivers. I used to be the mechanic of Steffi Hamm 20 years ago, so I'm very, very excited to see her again.
Yeah, and it's our secret plan, so we won't tell Steffi that she's here, and we're going to see her reaction right then. So that's our plan for this weekend. We're so excited to be finally here for you guys. The motto last year of the fireworks was, "Thank you, fans, you are back again." We're so excited to see the brand new motto, but you saw already some fans, but it's still early in the morning to be fair enough, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's pretty calm for being at Nürburgring, I have to say, but it's 10 more minutes and the engine will be starting up, so it's like the quiet before the storm. That's like a given. And already if you leave this part of the racetrack, there are so many people. There has been a party going on last night outdoors, so this is not reality when it comes to the whole Grand Prix by itself. This is us sitting in a very special place right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely special, and we always take you to the grid, of course. So we will be next door to our fabulous trucks, and also you'll be right now joining us here in the paddock, and you will see everything from the Nürburgring, I assure you that. Let's have a look at the overall standings. You know that Norbert Kirsch is still in the lead with 150 points. Runner-up is the local hero Jochen Hahn with 120 points, 103 points also the local matador Sascha Lenz. A very, very special weekend for all the German drivers, of course. And the Promoters Cup still seems to belong to the Portuguese José Eduardo Rodrigues, and he's collected half of the available Promoters Cup class victories to have a 33-point lead over the rest of the Chrome field. As you might have heard already, the class is divided in Titans and Chromes, so the experts and the rookies. We still consider ourselves as the rookies here. And right now, Lina, we do see the first truck. Norbert Kirsch is lining up for, of course, the qualifying. They line up in championship order. What do you say about this red beast, Baloo, his truck?
Well, I love how these trucks look like. I have a MAN L2000 myself, which is like a 7.5 ton, very old truck. And there's such a huge difference when it comes to all these racetracks, like how wide they are, already the build of these trucks. So I hope we get to learn a little more about the truck itself later on. Maybe also if people have a different setup, I don't know how much you're allowed to play around with the setup of the trucks. But I mean, excuse me, but this is pretty amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And so our commentators need to put their white gloves on, Shaz. Please do that, because you're on the wheel right now commentating for us. And we also say hello, welcome to Jörg Hennig, which is our German commentator this weekend. So Shaz, we will have a look at the highlights at Poznan. We've been for the first time ever with the FIA Championship at Tor Poznan.
Thank you very much, Christina. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the Nürburgring, but let's have a look back at Tor Poznan last time out. A fantastic race meeting at this brand new circuit for us here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It threw up so many different challenges to our drivers, with a lot of tight and twisty parts of the circuit and some very high-speed corners as well. But it was the usual parade at the front of the field with Norbert Kirsch on top in the first race of the weekend. There was a lot of action in the second and fourth races as well, of course, with our reverse grids. Plenty of trucks off at the start of race 2, and a rough weekend, it has to be said, for Antonio Albasetti's team. Lucas Hahn took his second win ever in the championship after taking his first at the Nürburgring last year, and it was a real feel-good vibe for everybody involved because the circuit was so fantastic for all the trucks. It was really natural racing that we provided there, but everybody around the track as well, all of the officials and everyone involved in running the event were oh so friendly and oh so welcoming to us. The big drama of the weekend was the accident between Jamie Anderson, Antonio Albasetti and Jochen Hahn, even our camera not able to keep up at that point of the session, unfortunately. Antonio was able to get back going in the race, but a 10-second penalty would go the way of Jamie Anderson and ultimately ruin his final chances in the last race of the weekend. But Norbert Kish was a very happy boy and, of course, wanted to make sure that he kept on celebrating as best he could and building that championship lead. Don't forget, in the first couple of race meetings, he didn't take the championship lead straight away after a poor running at Misano. All of the action was completely bonkers in race 4, though. So many wonderful battles, lots of contact and close calls, but it was just pure truck racing, and everybody was embracing the amazing Tor Poznan circuit. Antonio Albasetti, like I say, had a rough weekend, but to come away with a race victory at the end, I should say, it was very, very good indeed.
Ja, die Rettungskapsel, ich meine die zweite Maschine da.
Es muss halt original sein.
Ach, und das ist original?
Das ist original Team gewesen.
Ja, ganz großartig. Wie lange braucht man da? 2 Winter oder geht das in einer Woche?
Wie lange haben wir gebraucht?
Ich denke mal, ein gutes halbes Jahr hat der Aufleger gebraucht.
Oh wow. Und wie geht man
so as we see now, we've got the guys in the paddock, I should say. Sorry, I was going to try and translate, but I've still not worked enough on my German. But we have the wonderful Ollie walking around the paddock for us this weekend, providing a lot of great entertainment and, of course, providing a sort of separate feed to everybody here at the Nürburgring and keeping on track with all of the action on and off the circuit. We've got Norbert Kish then leading the field around for the first qualifying session of the weekend. As Christina pointed out, he is the championship leader on 150 points, 120 points for Jochen Hahn and 103 for Sascha Lenz, who now moves 2 points ahead of Antonio Albasetti. And it's thanks to Antonio and the wonderful team at T-Sport Bernau that my weekend got off to an incredible start here at the Nürburgring. I was very grateful to be given a passenger ride yesterday when all of the media rides were going on with the legendary Antonio Albasetti. It was awesome fun to see and awesome fun to be a part of. And it's obviously quite important for me as a commentator to be able to have a ride like that because I've now got more of an understanding of how these trucks behave on a circuit. We get to see a lot of how they move around mid-corner and all of the sort of sliding and shaking around that they do. There's so much inertia and momentum carried through these trucks because of the weight, obviously. They're 5.3 tons. But inside the cab, it feels incredible how much they move around. They move so much on the circuit and float around. I mean, even there, look, Heinrich Clemenshacker stamping on the brakes and the truck just stepping out that tiny little bit, the back end wanting to come around. You have to be oh so smooth on the brakes all of the time. You can't really just stamp on them straight away. You have to build up that pressure into the braking system and then smoothly guide the truck into the corner. You see here Andre Kurzim in the number 11 Don't Touch Racing machine. He's currently doing pretty well in the championship, actually, up into 5th position. So he's a happy boy as things stand at the moment. As Jamie Anderson, looking forward to another strong points weekend. Jamie started off his campaign pretty well after missing the first race meeting of the championship for his son to be born. He's on 44 points at the moment, just 2 behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in the overall standings, and has moved himself up into 8th position already. But as part of the great positive vibe that we have here at the Nürburgring, all of the drivers and teams are very excited to see what they can do here. They all know just how massive the crowds are here at the Nürburgring and how much fun everybody has with these events. There is such a great turnout so far, and we look forward to an even busier day tomorrow. As you'll have noticed by now, we have a very different schedule. We have a race today on Friday, obviously. after the qualifying session that we have happening right now. And then moving forward in the weekend, when we go to Saturday, we have a warm-up session in the morning. We then have another race in the morning, race 2. And then later on, we will have the qualifying in around lunchtime, actually, with the next race, race 3, also taking place on Saturday. So it's a busy day again tomorrow, similar to what we'd normally have, of course, qualifying in 2 races, but in a very different order. So having the first race, then having qualifying afterwards. And then our last race of the weekend takes place on Sunday, which will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. So a very different challenge, but we're sharing the circuit this weekend with a number of other series. We have the ADAC Mittelrhein Cup. I'm going to get the name of that right at some point. That's part of the French Truck Racing Championship. We have the ADAC GT Masters here as well. And there is also time in the schedule for Krone to take their amazing e-trailer around the circuit as well on one of their mission record runs. They're going to be trying to set lap records all over Europe with their amazing electric-powered and rear axle-powered trailer. Nearly 700 horsepower at peak output, that machine is absolutely bonkers. But right now, it's Norbert Kish fastest, ahead of Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn in 3rd place, Jamie Anderson 4th, Lucas Hahn up there in 5th, and the highest of the Promoters Cup drivers at the moment. Then we have Mark Taylor behind him in 6th position. He's 2nd in the Promoters Cup as of right now. Then Steffi Helm 7th, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez 8th, ahead of Stefan Faas, and then Heinrich Clemens Hecker. It's good also to have with us Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort as well this weekend in the number 15 machine. He joins the championship again after appearing with us at the Nürburgring last season as well. Unfortunately, his second day in the championship, or his second day of that weekend anyway, did not go very well. They had a really, really big engine failure in the 3rd race, which put them out of the 4th race, unfortunately. So hopefully none of the same this time round. And it is a truck built by themselves as a team, completely from the ground up. And it certainly looks the part as well. It's a chunky machine. There it is, actually, the white and orange number 15, making its way down the start-finish straight, the Scania. And there is a slow-mo shot of him going through the chicane, actually. Now watch the marker on the left-hand side, taking an absolute beating there and almost dislodging the front bumper. These bumpers are only fiberglass on these machines, so they're not very heavy, but they're also very flexible. So it's not often that they will completely break. You will see them bend quite a lot and absorb a lot of contact and a lot of the force that goes through them. As you see there, though, Norbert Kish and Antonio Albacete, who are teammates for this season, both sat in the pit lane after completing their fast laps. A lot of the time in these first qualifying sessions, you will see that they'll set a fast time and then they'll just go and sit in the pit lane for the rest of it because they'll be happy with what they've achieved so far in the session. And then, of course, they'll just go back out and carry on in Superpole after that. But I alluded to the Teams Championship just a moment ago. So a lot of the drivers get the chance to team up in pairs as the championship goes on. And they sort of choose who they're going to be partnering up with and then enter as a team, as pairs. They may not have the same liveries or be a part of the same awning, but a lot of the drivers tend to work together and make sure that they're all scoring as many points as possible, of course. And it is Norbert Kish and Antonio Albacete as Revesh and T-Sport that lead the way in the Teams Championship at the moment on 262 points. They are, right now, 64 points clear of Jochen Hahn and Steffi Helm as Die Bullen von Iveco. And then Sasha Lenz and Jamie Anderson are teamed up as Team Lowenpower. The man we have on our screen right now, Mark Taylor, is teamed up with John Newell as Newell and Taylor for this season. And then we have Stefan Faas and Heinrich Clemens Hecker teamed up as Sweden Power. And they're only 4 points apart, those two teams. But right now, the battle is on to try and get into those all-important top 10 positions because they are the ones that get you through into Superpole. And there is Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort, just outside of the top 10 at the moment in the number 15. He's only got to improve by about 0.6 of a second or so. Well, it's actually exactly 0.6 of a second from Hecker back to Klein-Nagelvoort. What we're going to do is just quickly throw back down to Christina, though, who is trying to get some interviews and maybe some close-up action for us.
Yeah, yesterday he presented the e-truck, but of course in his usual truck. Jochen Hahn, back on home turf. How does that feel? That's the simplest question.
I hear nothing. You speak about a home race. Yeah, we are very proud to stay here. You know, it's the biggest event in the year, and the pressure, it's hard. And yesterday we have I will not say a shit day, but it's not running like I want. And okay, now I'm a little bit nervous, but maybe it's good. So from this side, we make the Super Pole.
Even you are nervous, a 6-time champion, but you said the pressure is so high. What do you do to keep calm?
It's not coming from the pressure. It's coming when the rituals are not in the row. You know, when you have mistakes or you have broken parts like yesterday, then it's not in the normal flow. So I mean, only this is the way, the position why I'm a little bit nervous. But it's not really nervous. It's
Sounds good. That was a roar, to be honest. So we talked with Lena, of course, and she knows Steffi Harm. So why don't you just go over and we check if she will recognize you?
I actually really should, and I just was heating up myself a little bit on that engine. And of course, I like saving out on tires for later on, for during the race. And I really am so stoked to be saying hi to Steffi. It's been 20 years. I'm a trained car mechanic, and I used to be her mechanic. When she started out racing, we have not met for quite many years, and this is the first time we are like actually meeting again after so many years. Hi Steffi, do you have a second? It's been, I just told the audience that it's been like 20 years ever since I saw you the last time. I'm really stoked to see you race so fast. You had a quite good qualifying for now. Are you happy, and what's your aim for this weekend?
Yeah, for the qualifying at the moment we are not really happy, and I think we have to go out now directly to make another lap, because it's possible that it's getting very close, and first part is to be under the top 10, and now we are 9, but there are 2 guys who have the opportunity to catch us. So I think we go out and to be able to make a second lap, and then we will see for the races where is the position.
Well, you seem to be pretty relaxed, I have to say, and you had quite a good race last time. So are you already making space for more trophies on your shelf, or are you very calm about this weekend?
No, for sure. I take all the trophies I can get, so for sure. The plan is to finish on the podium this weekend. I hope we can make it. But the most important thing of all the races is for sure the qualifying. And at the moment we are not good enough, so I will go out for a second lap.
Okay, I'll let you observe the others, because that's what she's pretty much doing right now. Good luck, see you later. So let's go back to Chess. Hello Chess, by the way.
Hello, Lena. Thank you very much indeed. And it's great to see her reunited with Steffi after so long. It's great to have Lena with us for the weekend as well. It's such a great positive vibe here at the Nürburgring. And that is something I am going to say time and time again, because honestly, it's so exciting to be here. I'm delighted to be a part of this championship and events like this. It really is so cool. So, looking at the session, though, it is indeed time for Steffi Halm to get moving here if she wants to try and put a better lap in, just to get that extra bit of safety in terms of getting through into the top 10. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez hasn't been able to break through into the top 10 yet either, actually, which is quite a surprise. He's been on pole position, I think, every single time so far this season in the Promoters' Cup anyway. So in his category, all of the drivers with the little P next to their race numbers on the left-hand side of your screen are in the Promoters' Cup. We have 2 categories in the championship, basically Titan and Chrome. It's almost like a Pro and Am, if you will, and it is only designated by certain results and achievements within truck racing and this championship that denotes which one they go into. And basically, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has been ruling the roost at the moment, but certainly not in this qualifying session. There are the 2 wonderful Ivecos from Team Hahn Racing, Lucas Hahn in truck 22, Jochen Hahn in truck 2, father and son racing together once more at the Nürburgring. And it's great entertainment when those 2 are together on track. It really is. You have to think about the bragging rights between them. I bumped into Lucas this morning as well. He's in high spirits, very happy, and looking forward to entertaining their sponsors over the course of the weekend. And this is a brilliant event for the sponsors to come to as well. It really does showcase truck racing in its finest form. There is John Newell, but just for a moment, in 50th place at the moment, 1,000th of a second off Klein Nagelvort in front of him. It's very close, actually. If you look at 12th down to 15th place, there's only, 3/10 of a second, almost exactly 3/10 of a second between 4 of them. There's Heinrich Clemens Hecker. He is in that 4 as well, in 12th position at the minute, not on his way through into Superpole. But he's going to be definitely hoping that he can improve just by a little bit to get ahead of Stefan Faas and move up there. But this Scania does look very, very good, doesn't it? It's very angular, really beefy looking race truck. It's always great to see it pounding around the circuits that we travel to. A very mean look about it as well. Gorgeous livery, obviously part of Team Sweden Power as well. Teaming up with Stefan Faas this season. Trucks 24 and 25. Look at how hard he's pushing on the exit of the corner though. That hairpin is really, really tricky around this part of the circuit. Apparently got the name Kursanbindung, and it was certainly been done wrong a little bit there by Heinrich Clemens Hecker. I'm sorry, that's bottom of the barrel, isn't it? But he's pushing on at least. I mean, you can tell that he's really pushing. You can just see the body language of the truck moving around oh so much. And there is Louis Requenco. He's also outside of those top 10 positions, as Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has improved now and gone up into 7th place. So he's knocked Steffi Halm right down there onto the cusp of that top 10. So if she is going to go through into Superpole, she needs to get back out there and put another lap in. It doesn't say she's in the pits anymore, so she's definitely out there on the circuit with 3 minutes to go. But she's certainly got enough time to get laps in. Requenco moving out of the way there. I think there's a truck coming through, and it is Owen Klein-Nagelvort. This final chicane is oh so tricky. And we're going to actually go down to Christina, because she's got one of the most popular drivers on the grid this weekend with her, Lucas Hahn.
Absolutely. We do remember, of course, the emotional scenes last time when he won here at the Nürburgring and joining up with his father. Right now, it's a new race weekend for you. Pressure is on you. Right now, dropped onto 8th position. Are you planning to get another quick lap?
Yeah, we are now in the Superpole, I think, and now I'm looking forward to push a really good time and to be in the top 5 maybe.
So, but right now you will be waiting a couple more minutes.
Yeah, now I'm just waiting for the Superpole, and I'm sitting in front of the monitor, and I'm also watching the other drivers, and yeah.
Thank you very much. So that's really interesting. You know, qualifying in Superpole is all about the tactics, but you know that, Chaz.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of tactics involved. You've got to be there at the right place at the right time. And Lucas Hahn just focusing on the job at hand at the moment to make sure that he is in the best mindset for Superpole when he gets through. He may only be second in the Promoters' Cup behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, but they've had such a great fight at the top. Lucas is only what's known as a race-by-race entry for this season. So when it comes to the championship points, he's not officially scoring championship points as such for the overall standings. He's not in a sort of outright run for the title. Here is Steffi Halm with 1 minute and 12 left on the clock. She's just about to complete her lap and get up to the chicane. Look at the way that the truck nosedives on the brakes. Most of the weight, over 3 tons of the weight of these trucks, is over the front axle. Here's a quick look back at Mark Taylor. He's a little bit wide there on the exit of the chicane. It's a very, very tall curb on the left-hand side as you head up towards the final corner. Just kicking up some of the dust there on the outside of the track. Keep your eye on that 10th position slot, though, on your screen. Number 44, Steffi Halm. Is she going to move up? Yes, she does. There you go. Into 8th position. That's exactly what Steffi needed and wanted. Just that extra bit more safety to get through into Superpole, and she will be really happy with that one. She'll feel very much relieved to have improved on her time. Well done to Steffi. She did that at the perfect point. And they're behind Owen Klein-Nagelvort. But we're going to dip back down into the pit lane, and we're going to go back to Lena.
Yeah, back to Lena, back to Jochen, because, you know, on television, everything looks not as fast as it is in reality. So I was like, I really want to ask Jochen, what is like the average speed you're driving here on Nürburgring specifically for this race?
Yeah, in the end we have a top speed limit. It's 160, but the average it's between 110, 111. And okay, the limit is there. Why? We are so heavy. It's for the safety, and it makes sense. We make everything in the turn-in, in the inside, on the acceleration. And from this point, it's enough, and we have fun.
I just saw your colleague really killing his truck almost on one of the curbs. Are you watching out on the curbs here in Nürburgring? Because I know they're quite challenging in between, like some of them.
You know, we have big curbs here, and we have only big cars or big trucks, but the curbs are very sensitive, and sometimes you can go and sometimes not.
So you know which ones you can take and which ones you cannot take. You're the professional one. You have been here plenty, so you should know for now.
So now we give everything, you know, we go on the limit. Now it's the Super Pole. Now it's time to do everything on the table and ask me in 20 minutes.
All right, so you go kill that Super Pole. Chas, back to you, and watch out for the curbs.
Yes, absolutely. These things may be real monsters that seemingly absorb the curbs. But again, as a part of my experience yesterday with Antonio Albacete, he was really throwing it at some of the curbs in the later part of the session. And honestly, these trucks really do take a beating around there. It's savage how hard they hit them. But they have to think about the longevity of their trucks, because you can break components over curbs like that. You know, these things may be tough machines, but you really cannot take any chances and push too hard over them. So you will see a lot of drivers maybe backing out of maneuvers and maybe taking it a little bit easy through that chicane. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not as good a driver, but it just means that they're more concerned, obviously, about the fact that their truck needs to last the race. Because as the late, great Murray Walker once said, to finish first you must finish. And obviously getting to the finish line is the priority of these drivers. And then wherever you finish is obviously a cherry on top of the cake, I should say. The first part of qualifying is now over. So the times have come in, and as usual, we have Norbert Kisch at the very top of the standings. He'll be a happy boy after that one. A very solid first session from him. I think we've just had a flyover by some sort of jet or something. There's a colossal amount of noise coming from the sky. But it's Norbert Kisch from Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz in the top four. Jamie Anderson in fifth place with Andre Kursim in sixth position. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was seventh with Steffi Halm in eighth, Lucas Hahn in ninth, and Mark Taylor makes it through into Superpole once again. Mark's had a great turn of form actually after the first couple of rounds of the championship. He's really gotten into his stride at the moment, and the Taylor's Truck Sport team will be very, very happy indeed. And I spoke to Mark yesterday and they were feeling confident about it. Just talking about the first sector as well being particularly difficult. The Mercedes arena is so tough. And these trucks obviously not very well suited to it in the way that it's over crests and has long sweeping braking zones as well. Turning and braking and trying to go down the gears is so hard in these machines. And it's really easy to sort of snatch a gear and just have the back end step out slightly as you head into a corner. There are the three Ivecos of Jochen Hahn, Lucas Hahn and Steffi Halm. And I can hear in the background that Lena is being interviewed by Ollie, I believe. As we get ready for Superpole, the trucks will now get lined up at the end of the pit lane in the order that they just finished that session. So Norbert Kisch will go to the front, and then, of course, Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn will line up behind him. A nice quick turnaround here at the Nürburgring. Like I've said, we've got a very busy schedule over the course of this weekend with a lot of different championships going on. You'll also be able to hear me commentating over the French Truck Racing Championship as well, the Mittelrhein Cup, which is joining us here for this weekend. As part, obviously, as the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix. As Jochen mentioned, it is the biggest event of the year for the championship and for us here in the ETRC. And it's the one that everybody looks forward to. It really is. On a bit of a personal level, normally at this time of year, I'd be joining my wonderful friends at the Royal International Air Tattoo, which is the largest air show in the world, which takes place in the UK. But it seems like this is a good weekend for big events, and I certainly love substituting that for this here this weekend at the Nürburgring. This legendary track, great championship, great people, and just an overall really positive place to be. There's so many things to do and see here at the Nürburgring. If you are local, if you are able to make it down here to the circuit, then please do try and make it to this event, because you will not regret it at all. There's something for everybody here at the Nürburgring this weekend. And now there's something for our top 10, of course, which is another opportunity to set lap times and go out in Super Pole. So this will cement the top 10 positions on the grid. The previous session was obviously for making sure that you could get into this top 10, or obviously cement your position outside of it. So as a recap, we have Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete, Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Jamie Anderson, Andre Curzim, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Steffi Halm, Lucas Hahn, and Mark Taylor. 3 drivers from the Promoters Cup making their way out onto the circuit now to join the 7 drivers from the Titan category. Jamie Anderson, one of those drivers that's actually moved from Chrome to Titan this season, making the jump up after such a fantastic championship last year. Very successful season for Jamie and the team. They took a number of race victories as well, outright, not just in the Promoters Cup. Just missed out on said Promoters Cup to Theo Calvé in the end, but it was a really good championship fight between the pair. Very entertaining for everybody involved. And we actually do have Theo here this weekend as well. We also have Jonathan Andre on track, and even Thomas Robineau, who has raced in this championship before as well. They're in the French Truck Racing Championship for this weekend. And there is Mark Taylor in truck number 81 for Taylor's Truck Sport. You can see their social tags on the roof of the truck as well. But everybody just taking an easy outlap now. They'll start to spread out a little bit more in the later part of the lap. And eventually they will sort of wind it up and then get on with the fast lap. And some of them may only set one fast lap here. This is the thing, it's a much shorter session, is Super Pole. Qualifying usually 20 minutes, Super Pole only taking 10. So they've not got as many opportunities to set a fast lap time. So you have to be really on it. You can see Mark here just backing out and just taking his time. He's making sure he's got clear track in front of him, because even if you do overtake a little bit of traffic on your way around here, it can still affect your lap time. Even if you're just focusing on what the other truck is doing, it can upset your rhythm and send you late into a braking zone. There goes Norbert Kish down in towards turn 1. Heavy braking zone here into that hairpin. He's followed by Antonio Albacete. And let me tell you, when we were on a fast lap yesterday, it is crazy how quickly these trucks can stop. I know I mentioned earlier that you have to be smooth on the brakes, but even then, it is amazing how much those brakes can stop 5.3 tons in such a short distance. There's Steffi Halm just ahead of Lucas Hahn. She'll be happy to have made it into Super Pole. I can even look out my window actually here in the little OB van where I'm commentating from this weekend and see the trucks making their way through the Mercedes arena into the middle part of the lap. I will actually be recording a lot of my journey this weekend and putting it on my own YouTube channel as well. So there's a sight of the OB van to be shown in there as I do my usual tour of the commentary box. I was talking to Norbert Kish just before they went out for qualifying, and he was very confident after the practice sessions. He said that he thinks over the curbs, actually, which Lena and Jochen were talking about earlier on. He thinks that he may have actually hit one of them very hard, where the axle has somehow just tapped the fuel tank and caused a slight leak. But the guys at Revace Racing working very hard on fixing that, as Steffi Halm kicks up a lot of dust there as she goes through the right-hander out of the hairpin into the Michelin curve, the left-hander. And look again, just clipping that penalty marker the slightest bit. Steffi really pushing. I think maybe under a bit of pressure from herself, knowing that earlier on she didn't quite get the initial lap time that she wanted. So she wants to take every opportunity here to get the best lap that she can straight on the board, and then potentially go on to improve after that. So let's see the times coming in then. Norbert Kish is crossing line and has set a 1:54.754. And Jochen Hahn has gone second fastest there with a 1:54.933, just under 0.2 of a second off. And then Jamie Anderson goes up to third place ahead of Antonio Albacete. Then it's Andre Curzim, Sascha Lenz in sixth. he'll definitely want to improve on that, being 1.1 seconds off pole. And then it's Steffi Halm, 1.5 seconds down. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, 2 seconds off at the moment. Lucas Hahn goes ahead and goes up into 7th place. And then Mark Taylor completes the set and goes into 10th position. And now everybody, as you'll see here, having another lap just to calm it down a little bit. Now, you don't get points for pole position in this championship, so there's no need to fully go for it again to just score that extra point. But everyone now that will be confident with their laps at least will potentially just come back into the pits and consider that session done. There's still 4 minutes to go though, if anybody else does want to improve, of course. Antonio Albacetti and Norbert Kish, 2 teammates as Revesh and T-Sport this season, running away with the team's championship, as they did last season as well. They were so dominant in the team standings, and very happy to celebrate that championship win at the end of the campaign at Misano. Oh, sorry, at Rama, apologies. Misano ended the season in 2021, moving to 2022. It's all so much of a good time that it just overlaps into one sometimes. But Norbert Kish in the number 1 machine, as Christina pointed out earlier on, it's named Baloo, which I have to say slowly enough to make sure that I don't get it wrong. But Norby looks like he's actually winding up for another lap. So too is Antonio Albacetti, so they both carry on. Antonio's got the headlights ablaze, which are mounted just inside the cab. These very bright LEDs. They're mandatory under certain conditions where the lighting does start to drop, when we have maybe a wet race or even just some fog or just some overcast conditions. Antonio nice and tidy there out of the first corner through that hairpin. There's Jochen Hahn making his way down the start-finish straight. Sasha Lenz behind him, and then Jamie Anderson. Andre Kurzim in the background as well. Kurzim in 5th place in the race at the moment, as he is in the championship as well. But Norbert Kish looking for his 57th pole position, closing in on Jochen Hahn's record of 67. He's also closing in on his race win tally as well. I think we all know that it would be a very popular result, though, if we get a win from Jochen or Lucas this weekend, or even from Steffi as well. Any of the Iveco drivers would be a very, very positive result. There is Sasha Lenz in the number 3. Hoping to make more of this lap, because he's really not had a good first lap as Sasha. Not for his standards anyway. He's usually a good shout for a front row. Sometimes even a pole position as well. And there is Jamie Anderson pushing on in the last sector of the circuit, doing what he can do to stay right up there. 3rd fastest at the moment for Jamie. He's having a good session. Since they had that sort of turnaround midway through last season, he's been absolutely on fire. Look at that there. Sasha Lenz flinging the number 3 MAN over the curbs. He's really attacking this, as Norbert Kish has gone slightly faster. A 1:54.479 for him. What can Sasha Lenz do? He goes 2nd fastest, a 1:54.747. Great stuff by Sasha Lenz. He really needed to pull that time out of the bag, and he has done so, putting Jochen Hahn and Jamie Anderson on row 2. But that's a great lap, that is, by Sasha Lenz. Exactly when he needed to do it, and exactly how. Lucas Hahn has just improved on his time as well. He's just done a 1:56.014, but that doesn't move him up a position, unfortunately. Kurzim now down into 6th place. Antonio Albacetti, who we have on our screen now, will be joining him on the 3rd row of the grid if it stays as it is. But with only 3 seconds left, it's now or never, and I don't think anybody's on a fast lap as of right now. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like Jamie Anderson's actually on one, though. There you go. There's pure proof that Jamie's on one. Norbert Kish was just moving over out of the way there just before the left-hander to make sure that Jamie wasn't obstructed. It looked like Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was going quite quickly as well. He could potentially be on a fast lap here. I think Norby's just sped up a little bit to make sure he doesn't hold him back. Yes, he is. Jose Eduardo flying by on the left-hand side. He knows he can do better than that. Lucas Hahn currently fastest in the Promoters' Cup as well. A good 0.6 of a second clear of Jose Eduardo. He's hard onto the brakes now, into the chicane, attacking the curbs. Nice and smooth. Well, the second one looked very, very bumpy, didn't it? They are like sausage curbs, but if you go too steeply over them, you can hit the sausage curb itself and then drop down into the dip in between it and then hit it a second time as well. And the suspension will really not thank you for that. Jamie Anderson across the line then. Does not improve on his time. It's a 155.9 for Jamie and a 156.7 for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. So he does not improve on his fastest time either. And that is the checkered flag waving here for Super Pole in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And we complete our first qualifying session of the weekend. Now, the next qualifying session will not be until tomorrow. It is usual that we'll have a qualifying session per day, as, oh dearie me, it looks like Andre Kurzim is going to have a lap time deleted, which does put him on a 55.774. So it does keep him in position, actually. So he stays there in 6th place, does Andre Kurzim. Our next qualifying session will actually be tomorrow at just after 1 in the afternoon, local time, that is. So it's going to certainly feel like a while for these drivers between now and then. But it is a busy weekend, so you never know. It could fly by all of a sudden. It's one of those things in a weekend like this. We're just going to nip down to Christina, though, who's back down there in amongst all of the action for us.
Yeah, inside the paddock, you can see the trucks passing by here at scrutineering. And if some of the stewards saying, you need to park here on the right side, then it's time for the scrutineering. But as you can see, Mark Taylor's coming out to the paddock again. It's very, very close. And right now you can see the spectators here just waiting for all the drivers to get the best pictures. And we do always have them for you guys.
Absolutely. It's never stopping here in the championship. Just because the trucks have come off the circuit doesn't mean that it all comes to a halt. There is always stuff going on behind the scenes and always drivers and teams with something to work on and something to do. But in terms of the actual circuit, there's a little bit of downtime now between this and the next session. Looking at said session as well will mean that the next trucks out will be the FFSA, the French Truck Racing Championship, and the Mittelrhein Cup. So there is your qualifying result then. Norbert Kish takes pole position once again in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, continuing a 100% record this season. Another pole position for Norby. They'll be very, very pleased with that. That's number 7. Sasha Lenz in 2nd place. He'll join him on the front row once again, with Jochen Hahn in 3rd position. Jamie Anderson in 4th after another good session for him. Antonio Albacetti and Andre Kurzim make up the 3rd row of the grid, ahead of Lucas Hahn and Steffi Halm in the 2 Ivecos. Then it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, not able to improve at the end of that session. And Mark Taylor rounds out the top 10. He'll be really happy to have got back into Super Pole once more. Stefan Fast lines up with his teammate Heinrich Clemens Hecker on the 6th row of the grid, ahead of Erwin Klein-Nagelvort in 13th place. Then it's Louis Requenco 14th, and John Newell will line up at the back of the field in 15th, with all of the intentions of going forward in this race. We've seen that John is very, very good at managing the opening lap of a race, staying out of trouble, keeping it nice and tidy, and gaining those places when it counts. We're going to go back down, though, into the paddock to speak to Christina and Lena.
Yeah, staying out of trouble. I think that's a good theme for that, because we are here in front of the scrutineering with Lena, and of course everything is going to be checked. It's quite interesting to see what is going to be checked, because of course we do a lot of regulations. The weight, for example, is just one small detail.
Yeah, I was just like observing what they're like actually checking on. It's the camber of the tire of the wheel right now, because you can also adjust how stiff the car is on the road if you play around a little bit. So I think they had a suspicion, and this is why they're like remeasuring, because this is how you can cheat very easily on very small parts. And of course, everybody wants like the same balance, wants to have the same chances. And if someone maybe has not been the fastest and now he's like in the front, it's always better to recheck on the truck.
Yeah, they do check it. The truck of Clemens Hecker right now with number 25, the Scania, is under grade, but it's not called an investigation, of course. We're just describing you what is the phase. You know, every truck is, of course, absolutely monitored throughout the race, and of course from the great work from all the stewards at Key. So he also looked very satisfied. I think everything is fine over there. It's not that I'm telling you that he's cheating. No. But it's just to describe how important it is that FIA also is a part of this whole game, to make sure it's like kids in a play box. There always has to be someone to be watching out that the kids are like not hitting each other or like cheating on. So I think it's pretty okay to have technical checks. Absolutely, and I know some head teachers, and you might be one of the schoolboys, I assume.
So I mean, later on we might have. Yeah.
Every day's a school day, though, Christina. I'll always agree with that. We are always learning.
Are you a cheater?
Not at all. I shall never be accused of such things. But still, in motorsport, you have to try and get as much of an advantage as you can, but obviously by adhering to the rules. And that's why all of the scrutineering takes place. As the ladies rightly pointed out, there's so much going on down there in that part of the circuit, and there's always people that are busy throughout the weekend like that. You can even see the Iveco S-Way that is on the circuit right now there, which is part of the Krona record run. Look at this, it's literally down to the finest millimetres here that is getting checked. There's Connie actually doing the checks right now. Caught up with Connie yesterday, and she was very, very excited about the weekend ahead. Just talking to Csaba Bako about Norbert Kisch's truck there, the number 1 machine. A lot of discussion going on. There's Rudy as well. He's also part of the technical checks and making sure that everyone keeps things in line. But it's great to see that, of course, everything is adhered to so well in this championship. It's very rare that we ever have anybody thrown out for any sort of technical infringements or any sort of changes to the truck they've made that the FIA and, of course, the organisers are not quite happy with. And Norbert Kisch and the team, obviously always very well respected for the fact that they are so quick all of the time, and it is all above board. There is never any form of anybody, like I say, overstepping the rules or crossing any lines. And Norby and the team have just got such a great form of dominance at the moment in this championship when it comes to qualifying in race 1 and then race 3 as well of the weekend. They are looking pretty unstoppable at this moment in time. Let's not forget as well, a couple of weeks ago back at the Slovakia ring, Norbert Kisch winning all 4 races. And he's actually going to have a chat now with Christina about that qualifying session.
Yeah, we just hear the roar of the balloon, just a couple more seconds. He needs to go up front, of course, and scrutineering. So first pole position this weekend, Nürburgring, the legend. Tight curbs, also tire management is always very, very interesting. I think the conditions are quite well. It's not too hot, it's not too cold for the Superpole, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so far so good. Really happy with the pole position. The lap time, not so much, because in the free practice I've been doing better lap times on used tires. So I don't know. The rear was sliding a little bit with the new tires, which we will have to look into. Maybe we made the wrong setup step on the rear, but it was still good enough. But I was hoping to improve a little bit more. But okay, it's still pole position, so we are really happy. I hope I can keep it this time, not like last year, and we can start the race and we can start the weekend in a good manner and in a nice result, with a nice result.
So the weather prediction for today is it's not going to rain, but maybe tomorrow. I know you're a rain expert, but you're also competing against the local matadors. They knew every grass root on the side. How do you manage to keep everything you wanted to know about the track in your mind?
It's really difficult because obviously we are not coming here to test. So I only driven this circuit when we are here on a race weekend in the past. But okay, we've been coming here a lot. In the past 8 years or so I was here. So I think I also have a good amount of experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So have a good race weekend then. Thank you. And so, guys, you can also see Andre Kozum's truck under the scrutineering. Lena, come on in, because we're going to see you a couple of more minutes this weekend. And we're going to show you right now the highlights of the first qualifying. How is it to be standing here alongside those giants of the track?
Well, actually, I'm super much in the game right now. I was just watching them work, and there's a woman from FIA who is very much rockabilly, so I'm already in love with what's going on over there. I hope to be catching an interview with her later on, to be introducing more of the FIA people to you as well, because they're doing a great job. They're coming from mechanic backgrounds, engineering backgrounds, so also to understand the fascination they might be having when it comes to track racing, because you can choose which races you're attending. So I'm wondering if they were okay, it's like Track Grand Prix, let's go to Nürburgring, or if they had to come here. We will find out later on.
Absolutely, and you can choose also which races you are attending, and I would suggest all of them, because we see our race at 4:40. Please tune in. We're going to be broadcasting live from the legendary Nürburgring. Still quite loud over here. The engine is still rumbling around. This is really, really good. So, and then the race number 2 is on Saturday at 9:25 in the morning. Alarm clock set. But today, first schedule, please, 4:40, and then we're going to see you then. Thank you very much. That was the qualifying and Super Bowl. And right now we want to show you some of the highlights of the first qualifying. Oh, this is quite calm. It's too calm. We need some highlights right now. See you later.
See you later.